Morphological structure of words. In this chapter, we will consider the various processes by which words can be built. I shall illustrate these processes from a number of languages, some of which will be familiar to you and others of which will not be familiar to you. It is the wide range of ways in which it is possible to build words which is the central focus of this chapter. In passing, attention will also be drawn to some of the difficulties that arise in morphological description to show why linguists find morphology interesting. One reviewer said about morphology recently that we do not understand all that we know. This is part of the interest and the challenge provided by morphology. Word building processes using affixes. By far the most common way of building new words in the languages of the world is by using affixes. The commonest type of affix by far is the suffix. There are several languages in the world which use suffixes to the exclusion of any other type of affix. Basque, Finnish, and Quechua are examples, but only very few which use prefixes to the exclusion of other types of affix. Thai is frequently cited as an example, and none which use any other type of affix exclusively. Thus, the obligatorily bound morph par excellence in the language of the world is the suffix. The suffixes are used for all purposes in morphology. They are used derivationally as in English constitute yon al iti, Finnish ashu no tom os, leave noun without abstract noun, houselessness, mem, tikske enche, cook patent, something cooked. Inflectionally as in Finnish talo isaan, house plural in third person possessive in the other causes. Turkey sell me, say him, come be able negative voucher first person, I will not be able to come. Notice that all these suffixes are inflectional, even though some of them are translated into English by separate lexims. The meaning of an affix is not sufficient to tell you whether that affix is inflectional or derivational. This will be taken up again in chapter 6. Neither is it the case that a given type of meaning is always realized in the same kind of way across languages. Even plurality may not always be an inflectional category. In the Erie, an Aboriginal language of South Australia, plurality is marked optionally by a derivational suffix. As is clear from the examples given above, suffixes can occur in sequences, although there is no exception that they will, when both inflectional and derivational suffixes co-occur in the same word form. The general rule, although it is by no means exceptionless and see below section 6.5, is that the derivational suffixes precede the inflectional one so that the cases are typical. Diary, Jinsky, Maliji give reciprocal deriv present inf, give one another. Finnish, Kirja sto sta me, book collective derive out of our library. Friends, egal is a. Equal verb derive third person singular past. Inf, he, she, it equalized. Portmanteau-morph are very common as suffixes in highly inflecting languages. This is illustrated by the case and number marking on the nouns in many Indo-European languages. The paradigm for the Latin noun anasia given below will provide an example. Nominative, anu as, ani I. Vocative, anu I. Accusative, anu os. Genitive, ani I. Anu orum. dative ano o ani is, ablative ano o ani is. In this paradigm, it can be seen that there is neither a consistent realization of singularity nor one of plurality. Neither is there a single realization of any one of the cases. And if the other genders were taken into consideration, this would be even more striking. Rather, the final morph analyzed in the word forms in 4 has to be seen as a portmanteau morph, realizing simultaneously the category of number and that of case. The alternative position, where a single morpheme is realized in more than one morph, can also be illustrated from Latin. Consider the realization relation shown by the arrows in the Latin word from rexisti using ruled. Rule perfective second angular rexisti. Each of the morph analyzed in 5 can be motivated by comparison with other forms of Latin and the realization. Relations can be justified since if any of the morphemes were changed, the morphs realizing those morphemes would also change. Compare, for example, the form for I ruled. Rule perfective for singular rec has it si prefixes. Although they are rarer that suffixes prefixes work in very much the same way. They can be derivational, as in English disentangle, mem is be its Asian song singer, Tagalog panulat, instrument right pin, or inflectional, as in mem tekem, third singular possessive price, his price. Swahili si ngalijwa, he negative ex concessive past known if he had not known. Tagalog, I salute, model writing participle. This example shows that like suffixes, prefixes can occur in sequence. The norm is for derivational prefixes. To occur to the right of inflectional prefixes within the same word form as is shown below in the data from a Kinese single language of Sumatra. G. Lungu. He, third person younger in swim. He swims. Transitive example, swims the river. Mi Lungu. He, third person younger in intransitive derive swim. He swims intransitive. P Lungu. He, third person younger in causative derive swim. He makes someone swim. Prefixes can of course co-occur in the same word with suffixes, and all possible combination of derivational and inflectional are found in such cases. English unthankful derivation. English rethinks derivational as inflectional. Mem, ko, jo, ki. Third person plural ergative inflectional. Through possessive derivational. They went and threw. Tulkana iramay, third person inf. Beat a speck inf, he is beating. Circumfixes. In some cases, a prefix and a suffix act together to surround the base. If neither of these suffixes is used on its own and the two seem to realize a single morpheme, they are sometimes classed together as a circumfix. This can be illustrated from German, where the past participle of weak verb is made by adding a prefix gi and simultaneously a suffix t, that is, the base is enclosed in affixes, neither of which can occur on its own in the forms of question. This is illustrated below. Filmen, to film, gefilmt, verglichen, to ask, gefrage, loben, to praise, gelobt, praised, ken, to show, gezeigete, shown. Film, etc. do not occur. Film, etc. do not occur in this meaning, but only as third-person singular present tense forms. If the circumfix g t is taken by a single affix, it is a discontinuous morph. Discontinuous morphs are considerably rarer than continuous morphs. Circumfixes are a special case of a more general phenomenon whereby two or more affixes can act together to provide a meaning which neither can have in isolation, although many such cases are found. Circumfixes are the only cases which are common enough to have a special term applied to them. Infixes. Since infixes create discontinuous bases, the rarity of discontinuous morphs also account for the relative rarity of infixation. The use of infixes in the language of the world. Consider the following examples: 12 from Charo, a language of Vietnam, and 13 from Tagalog, a language of Philippines. Vo no, no, wise, cha, remember, leftover, sulat, right, su amulat, wrote, si inulat, was written. Note that to count as an influx, a morph must actually interrupt another morph, not merely occur between two morphs. The morph's meaning negative in the Swahili examples in 8 is a prefix, not an infix. In 12 and 13, the infix is inserted after the initial consonant of the base, interrupting the base at a defined point. Note that in 12 the infix is used derivationally, while in 13 it is used inflectionally. Infixes can co-occur in the word form with prefixes and suffixes. This is illustrated below from Tagalog. Verbs like sulat in Tagalog have the three different passive themes. The first was illustrated above. In 13, the second involves prefixation as well, and the third suffixation can be seen in 14a and 14b respectively. Is and ulat, second passive theme, preterite is and ulat, and third passive theme, preterite interfixes. A rather special kind of affix can be found, for example, in many of the Germanic languages, where there is a linking elements which appears between the two elements of a compound. This can be illustrated from German. Element 1, og, squester, tag, ur. Urge, compound, urge and urge, close eye doctor. Squester, per, squester and per, pair of sisters. Tag, race, taggy race, days of journey. Ur, Kristen, ure, urenkisten, clock case. Bure, fro, Bures, fro, farmer's wife. Georgette, jet, session. Tag, list, tag is list, daylight. Weird horse, where is horse in lit horse house. Star and banner, stern and banner, stars and stripes. Stross a, Stross and a, ostrich egg. Arbeit on Jong, Arbeit is on Jong, work clothes. Geburtschar, Geburtschar, Europert, Libby, brief, Libby is brief, love letter. Verbindung Tur, connecting door, the linking elements in the compound. is an affix which only comes between two other forms. It is therefore sometimes termed as interfix. The O that occurs in neoclassical